Welcome to Rise Beyond Average. This message did not find you by accident. If you are listening to this, it is because heaven has scheduled your release. There are moments in life when invisible forces attempt to restrain what God planted inside a person. Moments when destiny feels delayed, progress feels resisted, and your light seems hidden, not because you lack potential, but because chains were placed against your star. Tonight, those chains are breaking. Some of you have felt it for years, the sense that you are meant for more, yet something keeps pulling you back. You pray, you try, you rise, but suddenly, you are pressed down again. That cycle ends now, because what was done in secret against your destiny is being confronted by the power of God openly. This is not motivation. This is not emotion. This is divine intervention. Your star was never lost. It was restrained, and restraint has an expiry date. As you listen, something will shift. As you listen, burdens will lift. As you listen, spiritual locks will open. Because when God decides to restore a destiny, no chain, spiritual, generational, spoken or unseen, can resist him. Stay focused. Stay receptive. Your release has already begun. Every destiny has a star, not a physical star in the sky, but a divine marker, a spiritual signature placed by God that determines direction, favor, timing, and recognition. Your star is the reason you survived what should have destroyed you. It is the reason you keep rising even when life presses hard. It is the reason the enemy noticed you early. Stars attract attention. That is why they are targeted. Many people assume resistance means failure, but in the realm of the spirit, resistance is often proof of importance. The chains that bind a star are never random. They are intentional, strategic, and aimed at delaying visibility. Some of you were chained through delay. You watched others move forward while you remained stuck, not because you were unqualified, but because time itself was manipulated against you. Some were chained through rejection, doors closed without explanation. Favor was withdrawn suddenly. People changed overnight. Some were chained through weariness, battles that never seemed to end, cycles that repeated themselves until hope grew tired. But hear this clearly. Chains do not mean ownership. They only mean temporary restraint. Joseph was chained, but his star still governed Egypt. David was hunted, but his star still ruled Israel. Jesus was bound, but his star still redeemed the world. Chains never cancel stars. They only reveal them. There are forces that specialize in star-binding spiritual systems designed to dim light before it shines. These systems operate through fear, confusion, delay, distraction, and discouragement. Their goal is not always to destroy. Sometimes it is simply to postpone until momentum dies. But tonight, momentum is being restored. What many don't realize is that every chain has an expiration date written by God. The enemy never decides when your destiny ends. He only guesses and guesses wrong. Right now, the sound you are hearing is not just words. It is the sound of spiritual pressure being reversed. Because when God steps into a situation, chains don't loosen, they shatter. Some of you are feeling it already. A strange peace, a sudden clarity, a release you cannot explain. That is because what was holding your star down is being confronted by higher authority. Chains respond to power, and there is no power higher than God. There are chains made by words, curses spoken over you knowingly or unknowingly. Words that said you would never succeed. Words that defined you by your past instead of your calling. But the same way words created chains, words can destroy them. There are chains formed by bloodlines, patterns passed down silently, cycles of struggle that repeat across generations. But when God intervenes, lineage bows to purpose. You were not born to repeat history. You were born to rewrite it. There are chains formed by trauma moments that fractured confidence and buried vision. But trauma does not have the authority to edit destiny. Your star was present before the wound, and it will shine after the healing. What is happening now is not accidental timing. It is a divine recall of your destiny. Heaven is revisiting your name. Your assignment is being reactivated. Your visibility is being restored. And here is the truth many never hear. The longer a star is restrained, the brighter it shines when released. That is why your season will not be average. That is why your rise will be noticeable. That is why your testimony will confuse those who counted you out. Because when chains break suddenly, acceleration follows. Right now, something is aligning. Old delays are collapsing. Old resistance is losing grip. Old limitations are expiring. The pressure you felt was not punishment. It was preparation. Your star was not bound to destroy you. It was bound to announce you. There is always a moment when restraint reaches its limit, a moment when heaven says, "Enough." Chains do not break gradually in the spirit, they break suddenly. One command from God can undo years of resistance. This is why breakthroughs often look abrupt to outsiders. They don't see the unseen battles that were fought while you waited. They don't hear the prayers whispered in exhaustion. They don't know the nights you almost quit, but didn't. Stars don't rise quietly after long delay. They rise with force. When chains begin to break, the first sign is movement. Things that were frozen start responding again. Opportunities reappear. Connections resurface. Ideas return. Hope breathes again. Another sign is clarity. Confusion lifts. Your mind becomes focused. You begin to see where you are going instead of only what you survived. Another sign is favor without struggle. What once required effort begins to flow naturally. Doors open without begging. Help comes without manipulation. These are not coincidences. They are evidence that restraint has ended. Some of the chains holding your star were built slowly, layer by layer. Small disappointments, repeated letdowns, quiet discouragement, and over time those layers felt heavy enough to convince you that delay was normal. But delay is not destiny. The enemy's greatest weapon is not attack, it is patience. He hopes you will grow tired before your time arrives. But God specializes in last-minute reversals. Think about Lazarus, 4 days late yet still raised. Think about Joseph, years imprisoned yet suddenly promoted. Think about Hannah, long barren yet remembered in one moment. Delay never means denial when God is involved. Right now, chains are breaking at levels you cannot see. Legal grounds are being revoked. Spiritual permissions are being cancelled. Old agreements made in ignorance or fear are being nullified. Some chains existed because you did not yet know who you were. But revelation changes authority. The moment you recognize your value, restraint loses legitimacy. Your star was not created to compete, it was created to lead. That is why resistance followed you early. That is why peace tried to escape you. That is why you felt different even when you tried to blend in. You were never meant to fit into small spaces. And hear this clearly. The chains that held your star did not break because you became stronger. They broke because God stepped in. This is not self-effort. This is divine timing. When God releases a star, it doesn't return to its old position. It rises higher than before. This is the season of restoration with compensation. Time lost is being repaid with speed. Tears shed are being exchanged for testimony. Waiting seasons are giving birth to sudden acceleration. What you thought would take years will now take months. What you thought would take months will now take days. Because once chains break, momentum takes over. Some of you are stepping into rooms you were once denied access to. Some of you will speak where you were once silenced. Some of you will lead where you were once ignored. And the most powerful part? You will rise without bitterness. Chains that break cleanly leave no residue, no anger, no resentment. Only clarity and authority. Your past will not shame you. It will validate you. People will ask how you stayed sane under pressure, how you remained faithful under delay, how you survived isolation. And your answer will be simple. God held me until my time came. There are seasons when God allows concealment, not because you are unworthy, but because visibility too early can be dangerous. Stars shine best when they rise at the right altitude. What felt like hiding was actually protection. Some connections would have destroyed you if they met you too early. Some platforms would have broken you before you were strengthened. Some victories required maturity before manifestation. Now maturity has met timing. That is why resistance is lifting all at once. That is why chains are breaking simultaneously. That is why restoration feels overwhelming. This is not luck. This is alignment. Your star is being repositioned. Not slightly strategically. Old limitations will not follow you into this season. Old labels will not define you anymore. Old accusations will not stand. The voice that once spoke against you is losing influence. The system that once resisted you is collapsing internally. You are not fighting anymore. You are ascending. And ascension does not require explanation. Some will not understand your rise. Some will try to reconnect with past versions of you. Some will feel uncomfortable around your confidence. But stars don't apologize for shining. You are entering a season where obedience matters more than explanation, where peace matters more than approval, where alignment matters more than applause. And as your star rises, others will find direction through your light. That is how destiny works. If you are listening to this, understand this truth. What bound your star no longer has authority over you. The chains are broken, not loosening broken, not weakening shattered. Your delay has ended. Your season has shifted. Your visibility has been restored. From this moment forward, you will notice change, not chaos clarity, not fear focus, not struggle alignment. And when your star shines, remember this: you were never late. You are being prepared. Welcome to your rising season. Welcome to restoration. Welcome to rise beyond average. Stay aligned. Stay humble. Stay faithful. Your star is free now.